if you had said to anybody in 1986, one day Disney is going to spend $200 million making a sequel to Tron, or aliens will land, they will all look like Elvis, and they will kill the president of the United States with a banana, which would you choose is more likely?
Hey, Den of Geek fans, Aaron Sagers here. I'm joined by a gentleman that, I don't know, he has so much to promote and to talk about, it's hard to say where to begin, but BRIAN VOLK-WEISS, we have Icons of Earth, right?
Icons Unearthed.
Unearthed.
Which I stole from my favorite Dungeons and Dragons book.
And Season 3.
Season 3 was announced about an hour ago.
Okay.
Which we're going to be covering Fast and Furious.
Okay.
And the Season 2, which just came out on Wednesday, 2 days ago, was The Simpsons.
All about The Simpsons.
Correct.
And then also another wave of the Sectors toys.
We announced Wave 2. By the way, fun fact, we announced Wave 2 at a bare minimum 6 months earlier than we planned on, because sales of Wave 1, we hit our break-even number. We had predicted 7 months as a best-case scenario, and we hit that number in 5 weeks.
There is also another season of a toy store near you.
We announced Season 5's premiere date. Maybe if you were at another Comic-Con in like a couple, 6 weeks, maybe we'd be announcing another one.
Okay.
Maybe.
That seems like definitely.
I can't give it away. That's right.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about The Simpsons, because I'm quite a big fan of The Simpsons.
Same.
And it's funny because I think you could tell a level of Simpsons fandom based on the random quote that's incorporated into a person's life. So what is the random obscure quote that you just find yourself saying that probably 90% of the population doesn't get, but it's your own little...
Batman was a scientist.
Homer?
Yellow.
Homer, there's a man here who thinks he can help you.
Batman?
No, he's a scientist.
Batman's a scientist.
It's not Batman.
I know that's considered in 2022 to be one of, if not the best episodes ever made. I have been quoting that line since the morning after that episode aired. I was in whatever year that was, I was still in high school or junior high school, and literally the next day was like, Batman's a scientist. And people were like, what? Or people were like, I saw that episode too.
Yeah. My random quote, I think, Simpsons quote, is go banana.
Go apple. Go orange. Go banana.
Like, that's a meme. Like, I've seen that, yeah.
For such a long time, I would say, hold on to your butts. Thinking, of course, Jurassic Park fans might get it, but it's also, it seemed like, obviously, a popular movie, but it seemed like it was just like a little bit of a off the radar kind of quote. And now that's
Not
a
anymore.
meme.
Not anymore.
Clever girl.
Everything. Literally stuff that I wouldn't say because I knew it would take me 10 minutes to explain what I meant. I hear other people saying now, and it's just like over the last 5 years where like the stuff that like I literally got beaten up for in like the 7th grade is like now on t-shirts that the cool kids wear. Like, it's really crazy.
Yeah. Well, the nerds have won, I guess.
We did. We definitely won. And I know where I was when I saw it. I was at a red light. It was about 7 in the morning. And I saw this little 10-year-old girl at a bus stop wearing a Bib Fortuna t-shirt. And I remember looking at her. Again, I'm half asleep, driving to work. And I'm looking at, probably shouldn't brag about that. I wasn't drunk. And I just remember looking at this 10-year-old girl. And again, she's not wearing Han Solo. She's not wearing Princess Leia. It's not Darth Vader. It's not Luke Skywalker. It is arguably like the 700th lead of Star Wars. And she's wearing this shirt voluntarily. And that's where I'm like, yeah, we won. Our people won.
When you look at the movies that made us, and when you look at pop culture right now, I mean, as someone that is a true blue nerd, you kind of scour the landscape. What do you think is some of the movies that have happened for the millennial and Gen Z crowd that maybe 10 years, 20 years from now will be a topic for one of your shows, like one of your episodes?
Fury Road.
Okay.
I mean, that's the first thing that pops into my head. Hunger Games. I guarantee you, if I live long enough, we will be doing Hunger Games.
You think so? Okay.
Absolutely.
Because I don't know what like kind of falls off the grid, you know, what seems so popular at the time, but then slides away.
Well, here's what's cool about the world we live in now. Nothing falls off the grid. If you had said to anybody in 1986, one day Disney is going to spend $200 million making a sequel to Tron, or aliens will land, they will all look like Elvis, and they will kill the president of the United States with a banana. Which would you choose is more likely? They would go with the banana president thing because you put the banana in my head.
Right.
Tron, I wouldn't say it almost bankrupted Disney, but it definitely hurt them bad, real bad. Like they delayed building rides in the park because of how badly Tron did. So Hunger Games, they're making a prequel right now. Sure. There's a comic book. There's an animated series in the works. So Hunger Games, I guarantee you, will be around till the end of our lives.
You know, it's spooky season.
Ooh.
We're talking about, Halloween, all that good stuff. And hey, spooky season is my everyday, pretty much. So there's the toys that made us, but I was thinking about the toys that scared us.
Okay.
What are some toys that either you personally or when you talk to people freaked them out, that maybe disturbed them on some level? And these could be mass-produced toys or one-offs or random things. Are there any toys that you think scare people?
The toy, and it's a genre of toy that, and again, this isn't like me at 46 years old being an old fart. Yeah. Like what I'm about to tell you, I had this opinion when I was 20. There are these toys that make things. The famous one, of course, is Easy Bake Oven. Sure. But there are a lot of toys in the 60s and 70s in particular, but they have newer versions now that do the same thing. Now they're probably a little bit better thought out and probably a little safer.
Yeah.
But there were toys in the 60s and 70s where they would give you vials of chemicals and an oven. And the oven was usually like a 200-watt light bulb, which is like 80% of an oven is a 200-watt light bulb. And you'd literally take these powders and these liquids, and you're not wearing gloves, you're not doing anything, and you'd mix them up, you'd put them in the oven. This thing called smoke comes out. So you're filling your whole house with smoke, green, gross, gray, black smoke. And then, your whole family's dying of cancer 25 years later. So those toys scared the hell out of me, and still do.
The Easy Bake Oven ones, I actually, my sister was actually quite horribly burned by one of the Easy Bake.
We hear that all the time.
She got better, no scarring, she's all good. But like that was something, and it's like, here, kid, like go have fun with this. Or, so those are scary toys.
And slime. I hate slime.
Slime was sort of the last-ditch effort of the Masters of the Universe toy line, right? They
brought it in. It did not save the day.
No, it ruined a lot of carpets, right?
Yeah, yes, it did. And by the way, I'm the most overindulgent father who's ever lived. Like, no slime. Like, none. I will not allow slime in the house. It's one of these things where I'm like, how am I the only person on this planet that understands this messes up everything? It messes up walls, floors, as you said, carpets, everything. So like, and my kids, of course, the one thing I say no to, they bring more slime in than anything.
What's the story that you would like to tell next? I mean, you've got your fingers in a lot of pies. You're doing a lot of stuff. What's kind of the next wave, the next movement for you personally as a storyteller?
I want to do a series, something along the lines of the blank that should have not been made. And it could be a toy, it could be a movie, it could be a TV show, it could be a book, it could be a car. There are so many things that I am obsessed with, and I'm obsessed with them from the standpoint of this product, if it's a toy, cost millions and millions of dollars to get on a shelf. This movie, to put into a theater, costs tens of millions of dollars. The only entities that can spend money like this are big public companies. Right. So the fact that you have all these safeguards, all these checks and balances, hundreds of staff meetings, and you have still made something that your fellow humans will not touch. Like David Lynch's Dune. I love that movie. Who was that made for? Like, I don't know who that was made for. They just went bankrupt, so this is either a really good or a really bad example of my point. But God rest his soul, there was this company called Eagle Moss. Have you heard of Eagle Moss?
Yes.
Yeah. So Eagle Moss put out over 400 Star Trek ships. They put out ships that were at the back of a battle sequence, out of focus, half off camera, and they made gorgeous, mostly metal, highly detailed models at $40 a piece, which means it probably cost them $15 a piece, and they made at least 5,000 to 10,000 of them. Who are you making this for? But the problem is, I, as a person, I'm extremely interested in failure. I've always been obsessed. I study failure. My friends make fun of me for it. So I know that if I ever do the blank that should have not been made, it will be for, I'm not planning on it making a lot of money. Let me leave it at that.
That and we're running out of time, but this is a rabbit hole I really want to go down, because I've also even wondered about, I don't know if these are failures, but I've always been curious about the toys that are made for, let's say, movies that are very much adult movies or R-rated movies. You know, like you got your RoboCop, your Alien, Terminator 2. Like, have you ever given any thought to, like, how are we now marketing these toys to kids from movies that were R-rated and clearly targeting adults?
I understand Terminator 2 is R-rated, but it's still a popcorn film.
Sure.
Like, I get it. Waterworld? Like, what? By the way, I own every single thing ever made at Waterworld. I got the catamaran. I got every figure. I got everything. Like, Last Action Hero. Yeah. Like, do you have any idea how, like, the kind of hit that Hasbro takes? Like, who saw Waterworld? Who read the script and was like, oh, these toys are going to fly off the shelf? There's a scene in that movie that no one talks about where Kevin Costner, for those of you who haven't seen the movie, Kevin Costner is the star of the film.
Spoiler.
He offers a 12-year-old girl to get raped to get like some wood, like some pieces of wood he needed to fix his boat. Who at Hasbro is reading this script and saying, oh, these will be great toys.
Great toys.
So, like, that's what I'm always, like, really curious about when I see these things, where I'm like, who is this made for?
I totally agree with you about the Waterworld stuff. It's actually another Kevin Costner movie, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Those are toys that are sort of like junk food toys for my soul.
Yeah.
Just recycling parts from other action figures and, Star Wars, I know, superpower lines and some other ones. Those are like my, I guess, Kevin Costner junk food toys.
But those toys made money. That line did very well, partially because they reused the molds on a lot of things, but also because it was a popcorn film that was very successful.
Yeah.
So that is a popular line.
This was a random conversation, but I love it. Brian, thank you so much for your time. And this guy's doing a lot of things. Keep up with him if you don't already. And I look forward to chatting with you again soon.
Anytime. This was fun.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.